Under the shadows of the recent India-China standoff and the South China Sea dispute, a lot of countries including India, Philippines, Vietnam, and Tibet, have seen a surge in boycott made in China campaigns. The main fuel driving these campaigns is mostly nationalism, aiming to hurt the Chinese economy. Practically though, hurting the Chinese economy without hurting your own, would be very delicate and difficult to achieve. But recently, when the American and Indian government joined this boycott league, and their reason for doing so, has compelled us to look into this matter more seriously. So, setting aside nationalism and economy, in this video, we will find out exactly why each and every person all around the world should boycott all Chinese products immediately. Now, if you look to the left of this image very carefully, you will discover that China is the largest exporter of electronic items in this whole world. These electronic items are mostly smartphones and other electronic gadgets, such as tablets, wearables, and other equipments. Now, if you look at the right of this image, you will discover that China is also the largest importer of electronic equipments. These electronic equipments are mostly parts, essential in manufacturing electronic items, which China exports so heavily all over the world. Coming to the second image, on the right, you can see China's trade deficit with other countries. You can clearly see that China has a positive trade deficit with countries that are heavy consumers of electronic items, countries like America, Europe, and India. This means China earns heavily from these countries. Whereas, a negative trade deficit with countries that are well known all over the world as leaders in manufacturing electronic parts, like Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan. Countries which earn from China. And to the left, you can clearly see how China aims at conquering the global smartphone market. At present, every fourth smartphone on planet Earth is made by a Chinese company, companies which mainly include Oppo, Vivo, Xiaomi, and Huawei. You must now be thinking that, if China imports all the electronic parts used in manufacturing smartphones and other electronic items from other countries, then does China just assemble these electronic parts and ship the assembled product to consumer countries? The answer to this question is absolutely yes. China simply imports parts from other countries, assembles it, and ships the final product to consumer countries. Now, two questions arises. First is, why can't other countries like India do the same? And second, if that is the case, then what's wrong with that? Why should we boycott these products? The answer to the first question is that, while other countries like India, Brazil, and Mexico can easily do the same, however, they won't stand a chance when competing with Chinese-made products. All because of China's ultra-low labor costs, as China is under a totalitarian communist regime, while others in the race are democracies. The basic difference between the two is that, while China can lower the final price of a product as per its wish, by compromising the wages of its workers, you cannot do the same in a democracy, as compromising the wages of the workers can land the company into trouble, all thanks to labor unions. Now, before answering the second question, we would ask you to take some time in thinking about exactly why China wants to dominate the world's electronic market, especially the smartphone market. Let us give you a hint. Your smartphone knows who you are, who your friends are, where you live and where you work, where you happen to be right now in this exact moment, take pictures and record audio. Yes, you guessed it right. To spy on you. A number of electronic items made by Chinese companies, including smartphones, have recently been known to harbor malwares, which work as a hardware Trojan, and are installed as part of the firmware. The Trojans can take over your smartphone, and transfer your private data to servers located in China. In democratic countries like India, America, United Kingdom, and Australia, right to privacy is a fundamental right. This guarantees an individual the right to privacy. And any use of their personal data without their permission is a violation of this right, and thus, answerable to the court of law. But not in China. In China, there is no such law. In fact, the Chinese government has made it mandatory to collect all sorts of data from users using these devices, directly or indirectly. China says that it uses this data for compiling some sort of ranking system, to rank its citizens based on their social behavior. But, if you are not a Chinese citizen, then China can use this data to target your country in case of war and other situations. To remind you, a smartphone is used by everyone, including actors, politicians, scientists, government officials, soldiers, and even your country's prime minister and president. This is exactly the reason why the Indian government has asked all Chinese smartphone companies to provide details on this, and have directed them to establish their servers in India. On the other hand, the American government has banned its army from using drones, which are made in China, as these are also electronic gadgets, with possibly malware harboring firmware installed in it. We would advise you to boycott even those electronic items, which do not have firmwares installed in it. Take party lights for example. Buy products made in your own country, as products made in China are of low quality, and last just for 1 or 2 use only. Thus you are compelled to buy a new one every year. Also, when you buy products made in your own country, you are contributing to your country's economy. And if they do malfunction, you will at least know where to complain to. Whatever be your motive behind boycotting Chinese products, we are happy to inform you that it is working, and you can be proud of it. And for those who are still thinking whether boycotting Chinese product will actually hamper its economy or not, then look at this image. Even China admits that it does hamper its economy. Just look at this article by China Daily. What more proof do you want? And by the way, the emoji has been censored for obvious reasons. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do check out our other videos as well. Links to a few are on your screen. Please subscribe and do not forget to hit the like button. See you in another video. Thanks for watching.